Hi, my name's Andrew from Boise, Idaho. My question jumps off something Ms. Parker said in the opening about social media being a tool, and I thought that this sort of mirrored language that I've heard about firearms and that we shouldn't blame guns for violence, we should blame the people that use them. And so my question is, if social media is a tool, is it a dangerous tool or a benign tool? If it is dangerous, should we regulate it and how? And if it's benign, how can it be bad or good for democracy?
I'm going to let both sides answer that question, but I'll start with you, Emily Parker.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think the tool, yeah, it is a tool, and I think the firearms, I mean, people have used that specifically to refer to social media. Yeah, I think we've established, and I think Jeff and I, even on this side, agree that social media can be used for bad. I mean, that's not really in doubt, right? We've seen that in many situations. Again, if we're talking about democracy, the good guys don't always win. Right? This is just social media can be used for good and it can be used for bad. You know, the regulation question is very, very tricky because can Facebook itself do better? Yes. And I think we're already seeing people pushing Facebook to do better. We're seeing some reforms inside the company. I think we can push these social media platforms, but then you have to ask, who is going to decide what is the accurate, who is going to decide what's the right social media behavior? Is it going to be our own government? Is it going to be the Trump administration? Is that what we really want? We want Trump deciding what's okay to say on Twitter? Okay, we can try that. Do we want Mark Zuckerberg, who kind of like, you know, got us into this mess in the first place? Do we want him deciding what it's okay? Do we want an algorithm deciding what's okay? So I think a lot of times, you know, there's just like, let's just regulate, let's just fix this problem. But we have to think really carefully about like, who is going to be the arbiter here?
Okay,
so that last point, just so we're clear, Facebook, Google, they decide exactly what you see. There are at any moment at least 1 million different stories they could show you that you would think were really interesting. They pick the 20 that help their business model most. They censor like crazy, okay? They have something called community standards. Now, if you go to Myanmar, the community standards in Myanmar made it okay to persecute a religious minority. In December, Médecins Sans Frontières said there were at least 9,000 people killed in what the United Nations has said is a classic ethnic cleansing enabled by Facebook, singularly enabled by Facebook. There are 43,000 missing parents, all presumed to be dead. These are real-life consequences. Since 2006, since the year I met Zuck, we've had Freedom Watch has talked 12 consecutive years of declines in freedom globally. Now, maybe it's a coincidence, but our job here is really simple. It's to decide, is social media good for democracy? If freedom is declining, I would say that's pretty definitionally an argument against the proposition.